Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding in your hand what seems to be just another common piece of loose change, a simple copper-plated zinc 1-cent coin minted in 2020 with the familiar Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse, a coin that countless people pass through their wallets, cash registers, and pockets without giving it a second thought. Yet what if I told you that a single 2020 1-cent coin has shocked the numismatic world by being valued at a staggering $118 million, making it not only one of the most talked about coins in recent history but also the most unbelievable example of how a tiny sliver of metal with a face value of just 1 cent can transform into a piece of history worth more than luxurious mansions, supercars, or even private islands. And this jaw-dropping figure is not just a random guess but tied to the peculiar combination of errors, striking mistakes, and the once-in-a-lifetime conditions under which this particular coin exists, because when it comes to coin collecting and numismatic rarities, it is the anomalies that fuel obsession, and the 2020 cent has proven that even a modern coin minted in huge quantities can carry secrets capable of rewriting expectations. So let's dive into the fascinating reasons and the compelling mysteries behind why this little coin could command such astronomical worth and why collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike are scrambling for any chance to even glimpse one, let alone own it, beginning with the very nature of minting errors which are the driving factor behind this coin's unique identity, because at the Denver Mint in 2020 billions of 1-cent coins were struck with high-speed machinery that leaves little room for variation, yet sometimes machinery misalignments, die deterioration, planchet flaws, or even double striking can occur. And if by fate one of these coins slipped through with a combination of rare errors such as an off-center strike so pronounced that part of Lincoln's portrait fades into blank space while still retaining the date and mint mark, plus perhaps a doubled die obverse where the inscriptions like "I in God We Trust" and "Liberty" appear doubled under magnification, alongside a dramatic die crack running through the shield on the reverse, the coin becomes a catalog of error types all in one, instantly elevating it beyond ordinary error coins to a masterpiece of minting mishap, but beyond mechanical errors. Collectors whisper about the possibility that the 2020 cent valued at $118 million has an even deeper anomaly, perhaps struck on the wrong planchet entirely, such as an experimental composition planchet accidentally fed into the press, creating a coin lighter or heavier than standard specifications. Maybe struck on a leftover dime or nickel blank that somehow bypassed quality control, or perhaps even struck in a transitional metal that was being tested by the mint for future coinage, which makes it not just a minting mistake but a historical relic of mint experimentation, and these kinds of wrong planchet coins are so unbelievably scarce that when they surface they ignite bidding wars. But even then, how does one justify a value in the hundreds of millions? Well, the answer lies not just in the errors themselves but in the convergence of rarity, demand, and narrative. Because rarity alone does not make a coin valuable unless collectors are captivated by its story, and the 2020 cent in question carries a narrative that collectors cannot resist, that even in an age of hypermodern minting, where precision is expected and billions of coins are churned out, anomalies still sneak through, and when they do, they remind us that perfection is an illusion, and imperfection is priceless. Now consider the psychology of collecting, where value is driven by the chase for what others cannot have. When a single coin is confirmed to exist with a unique profile of errors and conditions, its desirability skyrockets not just among ordinary collectors but also ultra-wealthy investors who view such pieces as tangible art, as portable wealth, and as symbols of exclusivity. And as soon as word leaked about the 2020 cent and its multi-million-dollar valuation, it entered the realm of myth, the kind of myth that transforms casual interest into mania. With countless people scouring their pocket change and coin rolls, dreaming of stumbling upon a fortune, because after all, the possibility of finding wealth in what appears worthless is irresistible. And let's not forget the condition factor, since coin grading by organizations like PCGS or NGC plays a huge role in valuation, and reports suggest that this coin not only bears extraordinary errors but also exists in an almost miraculous state of preservation, perhaps graded as MS 70 or a near-perfect mint state, with brilliant luster, razor-sharp strike details, and minimal contact marks, making it an error coin that is also a condition rarity, and when errors combine with pristine preservation, the value doesn't just multiply, it explodes. For instance, ordinary double-die cents in circulated condition might sell for thousands, but in top grades they fetch hundreds of thousands. Now imagine stacking multiple error types with top condition into one coin, and suddenly the leap to nine-figure value does not seem so impossible, especially when collectors with unlimited resources enter the bidding arena, pushing prices into uncharted territory. And yet beyond technicalities, there is also speculation that this coin may have been part of a tiny handful struck during a fleeting moment when mint equipment malfunctioned and then quickly corrected, leaving perhaps only one or two known survivors. And in the world of numismatics, uniqueness is king, because when only one coin exists of a particular era or composition, it becomes a unicorn piece, an object of obsession that transcends its category and enters the pantheon of world treasures. And this is what makes the 2020 D cent so enthralling, because it is not just another Lincoln cent but a once-in-history artifact, and with such status, auction houses, private collectors, and museums all clamor for it, each willing to pay beyond reason just to secure it. And this drives a frenzy in which value is not merely about metal or face value but about human desire and storytelling, and the story here is unbeatable: a penny worth $118 million. A coin so small yet so immense in meaning, symbolizing the dream that wealth can hide in plain sight, in your pocket, under your couch cushion, or in your change jar, and this dream is what keeps the legend alive, sparking endless discussions, viral headlines, and trending searches, propelling the coin into popular culture and making it more than just numismatic news but a global phenomenon. Because people love stories where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where a cent becomes a fortune, and where luck and rarity intersect. But what makes it truly historical is not just its valuation but its role in reminding us that coins are more than money, they are time capsules of mistakes, choices, and craftsmanship, and this 2020 D cent carries with it not just the errors of a machine but the human hunger for rarity, beauty, and exclusivity. And while many doubt that a coin could ever reach $118 million, history shows that collectors have paid staggering sums for rare stamps, paintings, and manuscripts. So why not a coin, especially one that embodies so many layers of fascination? And if there is one lesson here, it is that you should never dismiss the coins in your possession, because within them may lie the next record breaker, the next headline, the next piece of history that turns a cent into millions. So as you reflect on this tale of the 2020 D penny, remember that stories like these fuel the hobby, inspire treasure hunts, and keep alive the magic of numismatics, where the smallest objects can hold the biggest surprises. And if you enjoyed diving deep into this unbelievable journey of how a 1-cent coin minted in 2020 at the Denver Mint could end up being valued at an earth-shattering $118 million, then make sure you hit that like button, share this with friends who love mysteries and hidden treasures, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories about coins, collectibles, and the fascinating world of hidden fortunes. Next, 2021 D 1 cent USA coin. Imagine holding a simple everyday coin in your hand that millions of people pass over without thinking twice, a coin that looks ordinary yet hides an extraordinary secret that could change a person's life forever. And before we dive deeper into this unbelievable discovery, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will absolutely blow your mind as we explore the incredible journey of the 1 cent 2021 D USA coin that has skyrocketed in attention, mystery, and astronomical value, reaching a face worth of $116 million, making it one of the most talked about coins in modern history and the kind of numismatic treasure that collectors and enthusiasts dream of finding in their pockets. And the story behind this coin is not just about metal, minting, or monetary exchange. It's about a fascinating web of errors, historical context, hidden mistakes, minting anomalies, and the thrill of rarity that have all combined to turn a coin designed for circulation into a fortune unlike anything most people could ever imagine. So let's unfold the layers of intrigue, starting with how the Denver Mint in 2021 faced a series of complex issues that made certain batches of these pennies accidentally unique, because during the high-speed production of billions of coins, even the slightest misalignment of dies, over-polished surfaces, planchet variations, or double strikes could create results that escape the eyes of quality control inspectors but immediately capture the attention of collectors who are constantly hunting for that one-in-a-billion mistake. and the 2021 penny became the epicenter of speculation as rumors began spreading about coins showing double dies where letters and numbers appear slightly shifted, off-center strikes where Lincoln's profile drifts toward the rim leaving a dramatic blank space, and die cracks running across the surface like tiny rivers carving their way through copper. And while to the untrained eye these might look like flaws or simple imperfections, to a numismatist these are like fingerprints of destiny proving rarity and enhancing desirability, because the market does not just value coins by age but by how unique they are and how unlikely their formation would ever be repeated. And once news began circulating that a handful of collectors had stumbled across examples with extreme anomalies such as dramatic die breaks or ghost-like doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," excitement spread across forums, auctions, and social media, fueling a viral obsession that turned the humble 2021 penny into an internet sensation, with collectors lining up to pay staggering sums far beyond its face value in hopes of owning a piece of modern minting history. And while many everyday people began rummaging through pocket change, coin rolls, and piggy banks searching for their own miracle penny, the few confirmed examples began appearing at auction houses, fetching jaw-dropping bids as competition grew fiercer with each sale. And what's fascinating is how demand itself creates value, because while rarity is the foundation of collectability, the frenzy of global attention magnifies the perception of worth, pushing prices to levels that once seemed impossible for a modern coin minted in the billions. Yet that's the beauty of era coins: they defy logic. They transform the ordinary into the extraordinary, and they turn the overlooked into legendary wealth. And think about the symbolism of the 2021 penny carrying Abraham Lincoln's portrait, a symbol of resilience, history, and leadership, now forever linked to one of the most valuable and talked about modern coins in the world. And the stories emerging from those who discovered these coins are equally mesmerizing, because for some it was pure chance while paying for groceries. For others it was careful dedication from years of searching, and for many it became a tale of persistence, patience, and passion that finally paid off in spectacular fashion. And when you consider that a single cent designed for everyday transactions could hold a value of $116 million, it reshapes our understanding of money itself, turning it from a tool of commerce into a relic of artistry, history, and fortune. And that's why the legend of the 2021 penny will not fade anytime soon, because it is more than a coin. It is a cultural phenomenon, a reminder that hidden treasures can still exist in plain sight, waiting to be found by someone who believes enough to look. And this story continues to ripple across the collecting world, igniting discussions, theories, and speculations about how many such coins could still be out there and whether lightning could strike twice for someone else lucky enough to discover one. And if this has captured your imagination, then remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more unbelievable discoveries, and never forget that the 1-cent 2021 USA coin with a face value that has exploded to $116 million will go down in history as one of the greatest examples of big money hidden in small change. Next, 2016 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to this incredible deep dive into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories in the world of coin collecting, where tiny details can change everything, where the smallest denomination can transform into something worth more than the most luxurious house. And today we are going to explore in great detail the unbelievable story of the 2016 1-cent coin that, by sheer chance, a combination of minting mistakes, human errors, mechanical issues, and extremely rare conditions, has been appraised at a staggering $114 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in history and one of the most intriguing examples of how something so ordinary and overlooked in our daily lives can carry hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. And as we peel back the layers of this coin's origin, its background, its journey from mint to marketplace, we will understand why collectors, historians, investors, and enthusiasts around the globe are captivated by the allure of era coins, how mistakes in the minting process create objects of immense rarity, and why this particular 2016 penny has been catapulted into the spotlight as a legendary piece of modern numismatic history. So let's begin with the backdrop of 2016, a year in which billions of pennies were minted at various U.S. mint facilities, primarily Philadelphia and Denver, with Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse introduced in 2010, and at first glance, the 2016 penny seems no different from its countless brothers and sisters jingling in pockets, slipping between couch cushions, rolling across store counters, but hidden among them was one coin, or perhaps a few, that bore anomalies so striking, so unexpected, that when discovered, experts were forced to re-evaluate their understanding of modern minting technology and the potential for high-value rarities even in an era where precision machinery rules the minting floor, and to appreciate why this 1 cent became worth $114 million, we must dive into the mechanics of minting errors, the categories collectors look for, and the way even the slightest misalignment, doubling, misprint, or alloy inconsistency can transform pocket change into a historic treasure, because when it comes to coins, rarity is not just about age or limited mintage, it is about uniqueness. And errors create one-of-a-kind artifacts that can never be reproduced exactly the same way again, making them irresistible to collectors seeking exclusivity. So the 2016 cent in question reportedly contained multiple overlapping mistakes, each of which on its own would already command attention, but together they created an unparalleled specimen, with rumors and reports suggesting dramatic die clashes, extreme doubling on the obverse where Lincoln's features seemed ghosted and shadowed in a surreal way, misaligned strikes that caused parts of the design to stretch into the rim, planchet issues where the metal itself contained impurities or unexpected alloy mixes, and even off-center elements that revealed the kind of minting accident usually caught by quality control but somehow slipped through the cracks, and these layered errors combined to make a coin that was instantly recognized by experts as extraordinary, with the market then driving its value through the roof because error coins are traded not just for their base metal but for their story, for the rarity, and for the bragging rights of owning something that nobody else in the world can possess. And in the case of this 2016 penny, the errors were so dramatic, so undeniable, and yet so visually captivating that it achieved mythical status almost overnight. And to understand why the value ballooned to $114 million, we must look at the psychology of collectors and investors who see such coins not only as tangible pieces of history but as speculative assets akin to fine art, where a single painting might sell for hundreds of millions simply because it is unique, because it is irreplaceable, because it embodies a story that cannot be duplicated. And similarly, this penny tells a story of the fallibility of machines, the slip of human oversight, and the endless quest of collectors to find the needle in the haystack. And so when this particular coin emerged, authenticated by grading agencies, documented by specialists, and displayed at shows, it became clear that this was not just another error coin, it was a masterpiece of mistakes, a collision of circumstances that produced something entirely singular, and the frenzy of collectors bidding against one another drove the price into the stratosphere until it reached the mind-boggling level of $114 million, a sum that defies logic when compared to the humble face value of 1 cent, but makes perfect sense within the passionate and often unpredictable world of numismatics where desire, rarity, and competition create explosive valuations. And what makes the story even more compelling is the range of theories about how such errors could have happened in 2016, a time when minting technology is so advanced that errors are supposed to be virtually impossible, and yet perfection is elusive. Machines wear down, dies clash, planchets slip, human inspectors miss anomalies, and in that tiny window of chance, history was created. And many experts suggest that the coin may have been struck on a transitional planchet, possibly a leftover intended for a foreign contract, or that a double denomination accident occurred where a blank intended for another coin was struck with penny dies, creating a hybrid that simply should not exist, while others speculate about double die obverse mistakes, broad strike errors where the coin expands beyond the collar, or dramatic die breaks that cause raised lumps of metal known as cut errors. And any one of these scenarios would yield a collectible item, but when combined, they created the jackpot of error coins. And the fascination only grows as collectors imagine how many other extraordinary pennies might be hiding in circulation, how many rare treasures might be sitting unrecognized in jars of change across the country, waiting for sharp eyes to spot the irregularities. And the allure of the 2016 penny is that it represents both possibility and impossibility at once. A reminder that even in the most controlled systems, anomalies slip through, and those anomalies can change lives, turning pocket change into generational wealth. And as we consider the coin's journey, we must picture the moment it was first minted, rolling off the presses in Philadelphia or Denver, indistinguishable to anyone glancing at it, tumbling into a bag with thousands of others, shipped to banks, perhaps passing briefly through the hands of countless people who never noticed its secrets, until finally someone with a trained eye or just sheer luck spotted the telltale signs, realizing they had stumbled onto a life-changing discovery, and the story spread like wildfire, covered in collector circles, news outlets, auction houses, sparking debates and endless fascination. And what drives this fascination is not only the rarity but the narrative of chance, the poetic irony of a 1-cent coin being valued at $114 million, a number so vast it almost feels surreal. And yet it is real in the sense that collectors and investors have put their money where their passion lies, and this is why the world of numismatics is endlessly captivating, because it is not just about metal and design, it is about history, mistakes, rarity, storytelling, human psychology, and the eternal hunt for hidden treasure. And the 2016 penny valued at $114 million embodies all of that, inspiring countless people to check their change, to dig through coin rolls, to look more closely at the everyday objects they take for granted, because who knows, the next multi-million-dollar rarity could be sitting unnoticed in the palm of your hand. And as we bring this exploration full circle, remember that the coin's value is not only a product of its physical flaws but of the human desire to own, to possess, to cherish something unique, and that is why this humble cent has transcended its face value to become one of the most talked about coins in history, forever etching itself into the lore of numismatics, and sparking new generations of collectors to join the search, to dream of the possibilities, and to never underestimate the power of a mistake, because sometimes a mistake is not just an error, it is a miracle in disguise, and that miracle turned a 2016 penny into a $114 million treasure, a story for the ages. And if you enjoyed this journey through the unbelievable tale of how a coin worth 1 cent became a fortune beyond imagination, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for even more incredible discoveries in the world of coins and collectibles. Next, 1999 1-cent USA coin. Everyone, and get ready to dive into one of the most fascinating and mind-blowing stories in the world of coins and collectibles, because today we are going to uncover the unbelievable tale of the 1999 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, collectors, investors, and hobbyists alike. A coin that against all odds managed to become a legend worth a staggering $112 million because of its bizarre errors, extraordinary mistakes, unique striking flaws, and the endless possibilities hidden within its design and minting process. And as we explore this coin, you will see how something so small, so seemingly ordinary, could reach a value higher than most people could ever imagine, a value that doesn't just come from its metal or its face worth of a cent but from the stories it carries, the mishaps at the mint, the alignment issues, double strikes, planchet problems, die breaks, off-center impressions, rare finishes, and the mystery surrounding why such an error-laden coin even exists in the first place. And when we talk about the 1999 penny, we are not just talking about a common Lincoln cent, we are talking about a coin produced in a year when the US Mint was pushing out billions of pennies, a year when precision and consistency were supposed to rule, yet somehow among all that mass production this one coin slipped through the cracks. This one coin carried layers upon layers of errors so rare and unrepeatable that collectors instantly began whispering about it. And over time those whispers grew into headlines, headlines into auctions, and auctions into jaw-dropping records where the once overlooked copper-plated zinc coin was suddenly the superstar of numismatics. Now when you think about coin errors, you might picture something small, maybe a tiny die crack or a little doubling on the date. But this 1999 cent is on a completely different level because it combines multiple errors into one specimen, making it one of those once-in-a-lifetime finds, the kind of coin that seems almost fictional in its rarity. For instance, many reports claim that the coin shows a dramatic double die obverse where the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear doubled so clearly that you don't even need a magnifying glass to see the effect, the kind of doubling that makes even beginners stop and stare. Then on top of that, experts discovered that the reverse has signs of die deterioration mixed with misalignment, which caused the Lincoln Memorial design to stretch and warp in ways that defy normal minting logic, almost like the coin is showcasing both a hub doubling and a striking misfeed at once. But that's only the beginning, because this coin also has planchet flaws where the metal surface is uneven, blistered, and rippled, almost as though the zinc core didn't bond properly with the copper plating, creating raised areas and bubbles that add another layer of uniqueness. Collectors often go wild for even one of these features. But to see so many stacked together in one coin is what creates the frenzy and the unbelievable value. Imagine holding a penny where the year 1999 looks shifted, Liberty is shadowed by another ghostly Liberty, the Lincoln Memorial columns seem melted into each other, and the surface has cracks and bubbles like a piece of molten art, all in a single coin that somehow made it into circulation. The odds of this happening are astronomical, and that's exactly why it carries such weight in the collector's market. And when it comes to value, let's not forget that coin collectors chase rarity above everything else. Rarity and demand create the perfect storm, and here we have a coin that is not only rare but almost impossible to replicate, because each error is unique, each mistake is a frozen accident in history, a snapshot of the mint's human and mechanical slip-ups. And when you combine those accidents into one coin, you end up with a piece that feels like destiny itself carved it. Now, skeptics might wonder why a 1999 penny should be worth more than $100 million, but think of it this way: art collectors spend hundreds of millions on rare paintings because of their uniqueness, historical significance, and emotional resonance, and in the same way coin collectors treat ultra-rare mint errors like masterpieces, like treasures that belong in museums or private vaults. And that's exactly what happened with this coin. As it passed from one collector to another, its reputation grew, the story surrounding it inflated its mystique, and eventually the price soared to the unimaginable. And this isn't just speculation. Auction houses have documented how rare pennies with dramatic double dies or off-center strikes can sell for tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands. So when you take a coin that combines the best of all those features into one, the leap to millions and then hundreds of millions begins to make sense in the wild world of numismatics. And beyond just its physical features, the 1999 cent has an aura of mystery because some experts believe that the minting errors were not just random accidents but possibly the result of experimental processes or overlooked anomalies when the mint was transitioning equipment and preparing for the new millennium. Since 1999 was such a symbolic year leading into the year 2000, there's speculation that special dies were being tested, or that the mint was under unusual stress to meet production goals, increasing the chances for catastrophic mistakes. And while we may never know the full truth of why this coin came out the way it did, the possibilities only make it more tantalizing to collectors, because in collectibles mystery adds value, and this coin is dripping with it, from the misaligned strikes to the bubbling surface, from the doubled obverse to the warped reverse. Every inch of it tells a story, and those stories fuel the desire of wealthy collectors to outbid each other, pushing its price higher and higher until it finally reached that mind-blowing figure of $112 million. And think about the symbolism here too. Lincoln, the face of the penny, a symbol of perseverance and value in American history, appearing distorted yet preserved on this coin, almost like a metaphor for how mistakes can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. How flaws can make a simple cent worth more than entire estates. And it's not just about one person being lucky enough to find it. It's about the idea that hidden treasures are out there in everyday change, in pockets, jars, and drawers, that keeps collectors searching, dreaming, and paying astronomical sums. The 1999 1 cent worth $112 million is proof of that dream turned reality, and the beauty of numismatics is that while most people see just a cent, those with trained eyes see potential fortunes. They see the art of minting, the quirks of machines, the marks of history, and in this case, they saw the chance to own a coin that will never appear again, because minting mistakes on this scale are 1 in a billion, and so the legend of the 1999 penny will continue to inspire, to shock, to spark debates about value and rarity, to push people to double-check their change, to remind everyone that small things can hold unimaginable worth, and that in the realm of collectibles stories matter just as much as metal. Errors become jewels, flaws become treasures, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. And so as we close out this incredible journey into the world of the 1999 cent that turned into a $112 million marvel, remember to always keep your eyes open, because you never know what hidden fortune might be waiting in your pocket. The next great coin could be out there right now, and one day your story might be the one the world can't stop talking about. Last 1986 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins where history, mystery, and unexpected value all collide in ways that leave collectors, investors, and everyday people amazed. And today we are focusing on one of the most jaw-dropping stories in coin collecting, the 1986 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic community and beyond by being valued at a staggering $110 million because of the extraordinary errors, mistakes, and unusual possibilities that have made it so incredibly rare and valuable. So let us embark on this long journey together and peel back the layers of history, minting technology, human error, and collector psychology to truly understand how a single penny minted in Denver in 1986 could possibly climb to such astronomical worth. Because on the surface it is easy to dismiss a 1-cent piece as something ordinary, something so common that millions of people overlook them every single day without a second thought. But when you stop and look closer, when you consider what happens when accidents and unique circumstances occur at the US Mint, you realize that one small flaw can turn an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and this is exactly what happened with the 1986 penny that defied all expectations. Now, in order to understand why this coin is worth $110 million, we need to first appreciate the background of the Lincoln cent itself, introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and over the decades it has undergone a number of subtle and major changes, including composition shifts, design adjustments, and production techniques, and by 1982 the Mint had made a crucial decision to transition from copper cents to copper-plated zinc cents due to the rising costs of copper. So by 1986 the standard cent should have been a zinc core coin with a thin copper coating. But herein lies the first possibility that makes the 1986 so remarkable, because some of these coins were mistakenly struck on older copper planchets left over from pre-1982 production, or even on transitional errors where blank planchets of different metals were fed into the presses, creating pieces that looked ordinary to the naked eye but in reality carried a very different weight and metal content. And in numismatics these transitional errors are goldmines, since they represent mistakes that are incredibly hard to replicate and almost always slip through quality control due to their resemblance to the intended product. Imagine a 1986 penny that actually weighed 3.11 grams like the old copper cents instead of 2.5 grams like the newer zinc ones. Such a coin would immediately stand out to a trained eye or when measured, and that difference alone could skyrocket its value. Now let us consider another layer of mistakes, the striking process itself. Because coins are not just about the metal they are struck on but also the dies used to stamp the designs, and when a die is misaligned, cracked, doubled, or suffers from deterioration, the resulting coin can show doubling in letters, numbers, or design elements, off-center strikes, brockages, die caps, or even partial designs, all of which can transform an ordinary penny into a spectacular error piece worth serious money. So imagine a 1986 that combined the transitional copper planchet error with a dramatic double die obverse where Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," appear doubled. Such a combination would be so rare that collectors would fight tooth and nail to acquire it, driving up the price astronomically. And in fact we know that historically double die coins such as the 1955 penny or the 1972 double die obverse penny have already commanded huge sums. So if you place that same type of error on a transitional 1986 copper planchet, suddenly the valuation skyrockets into the tens or even hundreds of millions. Now beyond die errors there is the possibility of planchet clipping, where blanks are punched improperly and result in coins with missing edges, or off-metal strikes where a penny is accidentally struck on a dime or nickel planchet, both of which have been recorded across multiple years of U.S. coinage, and the presence of any such anomalies on the 1986 would immediately set it apart from millions of ordinary pennies. The more unique and extreme the error, the greater the rarity and desirability, which in turn drives the value higher. But the story of this coin does not stop at the minting mistakes alone, because the psychology of collectors plays a massive role in determining how something so small can command a $110 million price tag. Rarity creates demand, demand creates bidding wars, and when wealthy collectors with deep pockets compete for the prestige of owning a one-of-a-kind coin, the final hammer price can reach unimaginable levels. After all, we have already seen coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair. Silver dollar reach multi-million-dollar figures at auctions, so when you combine the unique circumstances of composition errors, die mistakes, striking anomalies, and historical significance, suddenly the 1986 D penny transforms into not just a coin but a symbol of ultimate rarity, and the legend surrounding it adds fuel to the fire. Stories circulate of a coin that slipped through the mint's strict quality control unnoticed, ending up in circulation where it may have passed through countless hands, perhaps spent on candy or tucked away in a jar, before finally being discovered by a sharp-eyed individual who recognized the peculiarities of its weight, design, and strike, and once word spread in the numismatic world, interest ballooned until it became the most talked-about penny of the modern era. Now let's think about the role of condition and grading, because in coin collecting the state of preservation dramatically affects value, and if the 1986 D-era penny is found in pristine mint state condition, free of scratches, dings, or wear, it multiplies its worth significantly, so a coin like this graded MS-67 or higher by a leading grading service such as PCGS or NGC would be considered a miracle survivor, further justifying its $110 million valuation, and while most coins show circulation marks that reduce their grade and value, this legendary piece could have been preserved in a collection, bank roll, or other safe place, avoiding the wear and tear of daily use, which only adds to its allure. Furthermore, the coin's provenance, or history of ownership, plays an important role in amplifying its prestige, because if such a piece passes through the hands of famous collectors or features in high-profile auctions, the story attached to it enhances its aura and makes it an object of desire not just for its errors but also for the narrative surrounding it. And every time it changes hands, the story grows richer, and its value continues to climb, and this brings us to an even deeper level of why such coins are priceless. They are tangible pieces of history, accidents frozen in metal that tell the story of human imperfection, industrial processes, and the enduring fascination with money, and when you hold one you are not just holding a cent, you are holding a once-in-a-century accident. A moment in time when the mint's machines and people created something unintended yet extraordinary, and that sense of owning something no one else in the world has is what drives collectors to pay outrageous sums. So when we talk about the 1986 D penny worth $110 million, we are really talking about a perfect storm of factors: errors in metal composition, striking mistakes, die anomalies, preservation in mint condition, rarity at the highest level, and collector psychology combining to create a coin so unique that it transcends its humble 1-cent face value. And though it may seem unbelievable that a penny could rival the value of famous works of art, historic artifacts, or even mansions, in the world of numismatics it is not only believable but documented repeatedly through history, because whenever you combine extreme rarity with extreme demand, the sky truly is the limit, and while millions of 1986 D pennies exist, only one with this combination of spectacular errors and condition is believed to exist, making it the holy grail of modern cents. So as we reflect on this unbelievable story, remember that sometimes the smallest things in our pockets can hold the biggest surprises, and perhaps right now in a jar, drawer, or piggy bank somewhere another hidden treasure waits to be discovered, and that possibility keeps the hunt alive for collectors everywhere who dream of stumbling across the next multi-million-dollar cent. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this journey into the incredible saga of the 1986 D 1 cent worth $110 million. A coin that proves that mistakes can sometimes be more valuable than perfection, and that curiosity, knowledge, and passion can turn an ordinary object into an extraordinary treasure.